Welcome back, Ashley. Thank you for being with me. So yeah, we've spoken a lot about your background, about your upbringing, about playing in college, and now I want to fast forward to the modern day. I will say, or what's happening in your life. Not necessarily today, but over the past say 1 year. I'll talk about that. Um, I want to ask you about the national team. Um, and I know that that's the topic that a lot of people want to hear about. You played for England at the under 17, under 19, under 23 levels. So here's my first question with regards to the national team. Did you always want to play for Nigeria, or did you always want to play for England? There's no wrong or right answer here. It's just I'm just curious to know. What
Mm.
was it like for you as a young girl?
I think I'm a bit different than most people. Because when I was younger, I a lot of people grow up and they dream of being a professional footballer and they dream of playing for their country. And I was neither. I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to be a professional footballer, and I didn't dream of playing for my national team. If I'm completely honest, only because I always wanted to just look for I was never a real long-term goal kind of person. I just knew what I wanted in the next year or two. And because I never defined myself as just a footballer, I never thought of playing for my national team. And it's not because, like I said to you before, it's not because I didn't love football. I just, when I was younger, I always wanted to go to medical school, and that was my main focus. And people ask me now, they're like, "Oh, do you think you're still going to do it?" And I don't think I will. I don't think my passion for wanting to do that anymore isn't really there. Ultimately why I wanted to do it in the first place is because um, I really enjoyed studying the human body, and I really liked helping people. And with football, my I always think it sounds kind of deep, but I always think about my purpose in what I'm doing. So I don't just want to play football for the sake of doing it. So if I was younger and I was I want to play for the national team, but really why? Why? What purpose do I have in that? Do I just want to do it for myself, or will I be impacting people while I'm doing it? And I know I feel most fulfilled
Making
when I feel intent in what I'm doing and how I can impact people doing it. So um, while I loved playing for England when I was younger at youth level, it was all experience. It was all experience representing my country, meeting new people, being pushed outside my comfort zone. And it was only in the past 2 years, really, 2 years that I've really taken. I brought it up to my dad. I'm talking about Nigeria because as much as I went to an under 23 camp when I was quite young, actually. I probably about 19. I could be wrong, but I I knew that there was never anybody like me who'd represented Nigeria, and I also know as a mixed race football player how I can be of benefit, but people could relate to me because I have a younger sister and I know plenty of mixed race kids who I've coached who don't feel like they necessarily have a niche in society. They don't necessarily fit in one demographic, so to speak. And I think football is more than just the sport itself. It's what you are doing and for what reason you're doing it. So I knew that playing for Nigeria is I'm not somebody who likes the attention. I don't want to be as I want to get my message out there, but I'm not really concerned about fame or status. That actually freaks me out. I don't want that. I don't not that I don't want it. I know it comes, but I'm more bothered about the reason I'm here is because I understand what it means to represent my heritage, understand my heritage more. I mean, I grew up in a very British household. My dad's half Nigerian, with my granddad being born in Lagos, raised there, and coming over here when he was a kid. But like, if I never would get the experience I've had so far with Nigeria if it wasn't playing for the national team. And I know how I can use those experiences to talk to my younger sister who's mixed race like myself, to speak to other kids and for them to understand what it means to be where they're from. Like ultimately, as horrible this is, like young kids go through experiences because of what they look like. Like my younger sister experiences things, and I know other young kids who I've spoken to go through like discrimination because of how they look, you know, and I want them to feel empowered in how they look and feel, because I've almost had the privilege of growing up not having to understand it, but now I feel like it's important to, I have a duty to, and I want to, because like I represent something way bigger than me all the time with what I do. But like I go to when I went most recently with making my competitive debut with Nigeria, when I was there, I was really emotional while I was there because of the experience, you know, like I've never, the fact that these girls, like, and it's something they're used to, but I've grown up like this, like singing prayer, like after dinner. I remember the second day I cried while they were singing because I'm like, gosh, I've experienced anything like this before. And it felt so, like I felt a part of something way stronger than if I was just playing football just because I wanted to, you know. And ultimately that's why I've made the decision I have, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be, but I understand that it's important for me to do it too.
And I love your response to that. And I will say, I've spoken to quite a number of people about you, even before I ever reached out to you for us to have this chat. And one thing that I always told people is I like Ashley. And I told them one of the reasons why I like her is I just like the way she thinks and I like the way she does things. Even from the response now, I know I had heard and I read a little bit about why you made the decision to play for Nigeria in the past. And I like the fact that your reason was always something that was well thought out. It was more than just, oh, I'm Nigerian, so I want to play for the national team. It was always something bigger than yourself. It was always something about being able to teach your younger sister, who is also mixed race, but like you said, is way darker skinned than yourself, and she's having a lot of different life experiences as a young girl than you would have had. Even just about a week ago, I had a young girl, Belgian Nigerian kid, 16-year-old girl that reached out to me via my platform about a week ago. And she's literally telling me, oh, how can I switch to play for Nigeria? And I'm asking her, why? Why do you want to play for Nigeria? And she said, I currently play for the Belgian under 17 team, but I don't feel like I'm a part of them. She told me she speaks against, she feels like they don't welcome her in. And she's one of the better players, and she was talking about she wants to come play with kids that look like her, kids that will make her feel welcome. And it's a very interesting perspective because that's a 16-year-old girl in Belgium who's going through the same thing. And
Yeah.
and the unfortunate thing is she doesn't have anybody like yourself, maybe, that she can talk to or that she can look up to and tell her, oh, these are the experiences that I've been through and these are the ways that you can navigate the system. So it's a very interesting perspective. And I give kudos to you as a person for just putting that much thought into the decision that you were making rather than just, oh, I want to play for so kudos to you for that word. Okay, so I will now ask you this question, and you already said some things that I found quite brilliant. So I have this photo on the screen right now. This was one of the first photos of you that went viral. A number of Nigerian fans saw it. Can you just take us through this photo? Like, do you remember that moment? What it's about?
Yeah, so my dad got me like I have JJ Okocha's name on the back. You obviously can't see, but he got me that when I was really young. And I remember my dad would always record like everything that I did when I was a kid. He was one of those parents. And I'd always go out in that kit, and that was my cousin is sat next to me, who's also Nigerian, which is interesting because you look at him, and I'm darker than him, but he's also like he's quite light skinned, but he's also a quarter, so to speak, Nigerian like me. So we would go out and play play football together, and I would always, I've even got the long socks on, like would only be
You
I don't know.
look like you just played a game.
I know I was only playing outside, but yeah, I mean, I've had kits like that since I was young, and my dad always found it important to get me them. And I've lived in this house for, I think we've lived here for like 14 years, so I'm 23. My sister
So,
now has
still
my
in the
room.
same house.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, amazing.
My sister has my room, but she's kept the stickers on, and I've always had an England sticker and a Nigeria like NFF sticker on there. And sometimes, like when you're in your house, you forget if things have been there for so long, you forget they're there. But I recognised it the other day. I'm like, gosh, I've had that on there since I was like probably my sister's age, and she's 11. So, yeah,
No, that's amazing. And I remember the first time I saw that photo, I was like, yes, she's a true Nigerian. You know, it's all photo and the kids, then there's no questions asked. I don't even want to hear anything again. So that was a nice one, and I found it interesting as well. Okay, I'll quickly ask you a few questions because I put a tweet up, that I was going to be speaking to you. So I had a couple fans, just send in some questions that they would like to ask, and some of them were around, your Nigerian background. So since we're on that topic, I might as well just take them. So someone is asking, what part of Nigeria are you from exactly?
yeah. My granddad was brought up in Lagos State, so it's funny because every time I say Lagos, I always, like I said, it's all new to me, but like all my teammates were like, "Oh, Lagos, of course you're from Lagos," because they're saying like everybody. They said to me like everybody wants to be.
Everybody says they're from Lagos. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's such an interesting thing. Like, it's funny because I mean, your granddad is probably from Lagos,
hmm
but I'm the same thing. I'm actually from Lagos. Like, both my parents are from Lagos, but
yeah,
because Lagos is just like, it's the city, it's like, everybody just says they're from Lagos, even if they're
right,
not from there. Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
I'm
interesting.
not just saying it; he really is.
Can you? I mean, I know you've only had limited experience, but can you speak a little Yoruba? A little.
um, like some words, like my sister's trying to learn it, so she teaches me, and actually, like Priscilla, who's the physio on the team, every so often, like when I see her, she'll try and like teach me because I want to be able to know some words. Like I know like Oshe, like
Yeah, yeah.
Bawani, like like every like
Can you
little words, but I don't know how to
can you
speak it.
introduce yourself in Yoruba? My
I'll
name is.
get there. No, I don't know how to.
Okay. I'll teach you. It's very short and it's very quick. So my is me, me. So I'm sure you must have heard that before. In Yoruba, my is me, and
Uh-huh.
name is Oruko. Oruko. Can you say that?
Oruko.
Oruko. Oruko. Oruko.
Oruko.
Yeah, so that means name. You didn't pronounce it quite well, but you'll get it with time. So
Okay.
my name is Orukomi is my name.
Oh, okay. Orukomi.
Orukomi is my name, exactly. So is me, N-I. N-I is in Yoruba.
Okay.
So my name is Ashley Plumptre would be Orukomi me, Ashley Plumptre.
Okay. Say the first word again, because I won't be able to pronounce it properly.
Oruko. So
Uh-huh.
Oruko.
Aruk Arukomini Ashleigh Plumptre.
Get close enough. Say it again. Say it again.
Arukomini Ashleigh Plumptre.
I'll give you a 6.5 out of 10 for your
Okay.
first try. That's not bad. With more practice, you'll get there. At least I taught you something today, so that's good. I'm happy. Okay. Okay. I'll ask you one more question from the fans just before. Um. Who's your favorite Nigerian musician?
Huh. I gotta be honest, I don't listen to a lot of Nigerian artists, to be fair. I know people always say like, like Wizkid is the what, like, do you know what I mean? Like if in doubt, like say Wizkid, but I'm not, like I'm still experiencing like Afro beats and stuff. But what I grew up with was people like there was this American footballer who's Nigerian um at USC when I was there, and I'd always say like my granddad would always play King Sunny Ade, and I know he's older, but I just like it because it feels like traditional Nigeria to me. So like when I hear those songs, like I don't know, it just feels
No, I
that's what I heard.
I
So.
I completely feel you on that. No, and you're right. You know, the Wizkids, the Davidos, that's, I mean, that's modern day Afro beats. But
Mm,
you know, people like the King Sonny Adays, you know, Wasi, those are the OGs, those are the legends. That just
right.
said, like
Yeah.
my mom, my dad, you know, those are the people that they grew up on. That's what I heard in the home when I was a child.
Mm.
So you're definitely right on that one. Okay, I'll ask you one more question about from the fans. Do you have a Yoruba name?
I don't yet. We're currently, my sister is trying to pick one out for me. Um, yeah, she likes, I think as a family, like Monifa, but I don't have one yet. It's weird because my sister has one, but I don't. So my sister's middle name is Bissy.
You know
She
what?
likes to be called Bissy, actually. But
I like the fact that you just told me that you don't have one, because you've given me my next content for my page on social media. We're going to ask the fans to choose a Nigerian name for Ashley. But yeah, okay, so that's it. Okay, so that's enough fan questions for now. Let me just, we're still talking about Nigeria. Um, you were initially called up to the squad for the first time in February of last year. No, rather in June of last year, not February. But
Mhm.
you made your official debut in February of this year. Sorry, I'm mixing up my dates. So can you just tell us your first time, you know, in camp last year when you went for that friendly, you know, series against the team in the Slovenian team you played in Austria? Um, what was the feeling like? You know, just first time going there and knowing that you are now, you know, a part of the Nigerian setup. What was the feeling like, and who welcomed you into the camp?
Mm. Yeah, so obviously the first camp I was so nervous. Ini Umatong, who plays here, she's been on camp before and she really helped me out. Like she called me a couple times before and she was like telling me what to expect and like if there's I should bring anything and just telling me about some of the players that are there currently. Um and obviously yeah, it was a friendly when we played in Austria, so it felt a little bit different. Um but yeah, I really did enjoy it. It was all just new to me, and then but I ultimately knew that my first competitive game, like I knew the Ghana game was coming up, but I couldn't get my like passport and everything sorted. Like it wasn't really my, well, we managed to get my passport, but it was like the FIFA switch that I needed to get sorted, which took a while. So I missed that one, and then I ultimately knew that the next thing I wanted to focus on was February. Um, and then I was telling somebody this the other day, but I was so like nervous for the first game, like for a couple of weeks before. Like I remember sitting in the changing room at Leicester when we were playing at King Power Stadium, and we were playing. I think we were playing Brighton, so that was ages ago. Like that was the 16th of January, and I remember sitting in the changing room thinking, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be doing the same thing, sat in the changing room, about to play my first game for Nigeria. And I was stressing out for that game when I was about to go and play another game for Leicester, you know. So, yeah, I was,
How crazy is that? That you're sitting before a game for Leicester, stressing out about a game that you have in a month. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah, it was crazy, really crazy. But, yeah, I was nervous on how I was going to feel because I get nervous before games. I think
Yeah,
everybody does, but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does get to me, and I think just because I know the importance of it, and I knew what I was, you know, it's been a long build up. I think that's probably made it more stressful because it's been since like last year that I've been waiting to play my first game. Um, and then um, before the game, like when we were playing Ivory Coast, I was in my room and I got like, this is what people don't really know, but I got really like emotional before the game. And then on the way to the game, I was crying on the bus, which people didn't know about, so I was trying to hide it. And then as soon as I got there, I was fine. As soon as I went out for warm up, it was just like, you know, focus on the game. But before that, I was so like, didn't sleep very well, very nervous, very emotional. And then as soon as I finished the game, I went back to my room, called my family, called my best friend, and was emotional again. It
Wow.
was,
No, 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 and I mean the emotion is all part of it. It's all part of being human. It's part of the experience. It's part of the journey, and you know, it's part of what, when you look back at this, you know, 50 years down the line, is those moments that you remember, and you know, you smile at how you were crying back then. So it's all, you know. I always tell people, you know, I'm someone that I love football so much. And I mean, I would never now at this point in my life get the chance to play for my country or to play at any real level. So I like the vantage point that I have, speaking to athletes that are currently doing it, and just to hear your experiences. And I always just encourage as many athletes as I can, to enjoy it, because trust me, there are a lot of people that wish that they could even have, a tenth or a 20th of the opportunities
Mm-hmm.
and the experiences that you're getting. So it's amazing. Okay, let me talk about the game, against Ivory Coast, or the games against Ivory Coast. So you had already been part of the camp in Austria, but that was a friendly, and that was an official game. So this time you're about to play your first real match for the Super Falcons. You already said it's a month to the game, you're stressing in the locker room. But then, getting to Nigeria, meeting the girls, actually staying in the country, feeling the heat, because there's no heat like Nigerian heat, I'm sure. I'm sure you know that now, that there is no heat like Nigerian heat. But what was it like being part of the team that was playing two crucial fixtures? Because it was crucial qualification matches for the Nations Cup, and at the same time, you were not there that time. But Ivory Coast were the team that beat us and stopped us from going for the Tokyo Olympics. So there was some pressure and high stakes for these matches. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I've I felt the pressure, but I got to be honest. Being around the team, like a lot of them are really, they made me feel really welcome. But they never made it like, even though we knew the pressure of having to like get a result, everybody was always like having a good time. Like nobody seemed to like let the pressure get to them. So that helped me a lot. Like if somebody was like coming up to me saying like, it's so important, like this is, but they were just like, I felt at ease when I was around them because they emphasize just, for them as much as it is for me, it's like a blessing for them to be able to represent the team. So every time they go out, it's just good vibes all the time, and that helped me a lot, to be honest. But yeah, I knew like a lot of the girls were talking about like how they played in like the same place that they played Ivory Coast before or whatever, and like last time when they played them, it was like you said, they knocked them out, so they couldn't go to the Olympics. Blah, blah, blah. So it was almost like I felt a duty to be able to represent the team well because they had like unfinished business with them, if that makes sense. So all I was bothered about was like nothing to do with me. I knew like people were watching me for my first game, but all I was thinking about was like just trying to get result for the people that are currently on the team, but the ones that were on it before and couldn't qualify, So and we got the job done in that sense. It was not easy, not easy. Like my first experience of Africa football was hard. I mean, I had a swollen cheek by the end of the first game and two black eyes. So like not bad, they weren't really bad, but like just under my eyes were all black because of some girl heading it in the face. But yeah, it was an experience, that's for
Okay,
sure.
it's definitely an experience. I mean, one thing, for better or for worse, African football is definitely different from European football or South American or North American football.
Mm.
But at the same time, it's what makes our football unique, and it's what we enjoy. I want to ask you a question, but before I ask you that question, I'll just play a quick clip that I took from your Instagram page actually.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So that is a typical Nigerian slash African experience. Fans are always out there with their drums, with their trumpets, with anything that makes noise. The fans going back out. It's relatively different from what you experience in the UK. Even myself, I've been to Premier League games, and things like that. It's a nice atmosphere there, but it's a different atmosphere.
Mm.
What was it like for you to experience this firsthand?
Gosh, yeah, it was. I knew that was coming, but yeah, it's different when you actually experience it the first time because people can tell you about it, and you're like, "Oh, cool," and then you're like, "Whoa," like in that stadium we were in as well was huge, like so big, and obviously it wasn't like completely packed out, but considering how big the stadium was and how much noise was made throughout, like it was hard to be able to like communicate with people on the pitch from how loud it was, but I thought that was going to stress you out, like so many people there. But it's weird, like when you're in the game, you hear it most when you're either like in my opinion, like I always hear it most when I'm attacking, when we're going forward, or like when there's a break in play, like if there's a throw in or something gone down injured, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so loud. But
So
it was really cool.
no, but I love it. It's part of the experience of playing in Nigeria, of playing in Africa. So it's great. Another question to ask. What is it like playing? Just very quickly, what's it like playing under Coach Randy Waldrum? Because he is also a coach that's honestly is relatively new to Nigerian fans as well. He only got hired about a year and a half ago. So what's it been like your experience with him so far?
Yeah, good. I guess like for him, he coaches at the college level anyway, so I'm familiar with that kind of coaching style that he brings. I think we communicate like really well. We have similar thoughts. Like I love trying to understand the game differently all the time. So like I'm coached a certain way here, and when you go national team, you learn other things, And for me as well, like at club, I always play as a centre back, but my 2 games with the national team, I was playing at left back, which that again, I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to, transition into a different role? But he was really supportive in that, and I got really good, just coaching points, like if I ever needed to ask a question that I didn't feel like necessarily confident with, or I had questions, like there's never a time when he's like, no, you know what I mean, like he'll always sit down. They're always, same with Coach Lauren, they'll always sit down with you and go through things that you need to, and that's what I've experienced so far. He's very and also, like for me, coming in as a new player and it's all different, like he's very aware of things, like he's always not just a coach but wants to help me as just a person.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, I see we're going a little bit too long, and this is one issue that I have. When I start talking football, I tend to talk for too long. But yeah, let's just quickly wrap up on Nigeria so that we can play a few games before we end this chat. So I saw this as well on your Instagram page. So, can you tell us how much of the Nigerian cuisine did you get to experience, when you were on national team duty? I know, and sorry, before you answer, I know Nigerian food isn't the healthiest food. I know that. It's not something that you can eat every day and say you want to play at your optimal level. But how much did you get to eat while you were there?
The whole time I was there, I had just like what everybody else had. I think that was the biggest thing for me as well. Like, obviously, I have my own like diet, so to speak, when I'm here. But part of the experience of going to Nigeria as well is trying everything. Like experiencing a different cuisine, eating things I don't normally eat. And like I've had Nigerian food here before. Like my stepmom cooks it, my aunties cook it when we see them. And I got to be honest, like all my friends and family were like, "How are you going to cook the food in Nigeria? It's going to be too hot for you." But it was way hotter here. Like when I'm here, my family make it here. It's so spicy, but there's never been a time in Nigeria where like when I've been that it's been too spicy for me to eat. Like I can eat it, it's fine. The plantain you can't. What I've noticed is you can't replicate the Nigerian plantain in England. I don't know. You can try as hard as you want, but the plantain I had in Nigeria was really, really good. Yeah, everything. Like I don't. This is the thing though, because like, I know a lot of the diet's made up of like rice. I don't eat rice very often, so that was really tough. And it's funny because I was talking to Onome, and she was like checking in on me. She was like asking, especially like when I finished camp, because I got ill when I got back from camp, and she was asking me about like the food and stuff. And as much as I want to be able to like try it, which I literally ate all of it when I was out there, I think I've gone from like eating a very European diet to a very like African Nigerian diet where I struggled a bit at one point. So I think I need to have like a middle ground of being able to eat both when I'm there.
Yeah. No, well, that was good. That's nice to know. And just so we're sure, but you like the food. That's the most.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Okay, I have another video from the games against Ivory Coast. I have this to Yeah. So a fan recorded this video, and when he posted it on his Instagram, I happened to see it back then, and I asked him to please send me the video because I found it very interesting. So I mean, I'm sure you must know by now, but Oyinbo means basically just means white person. But I mean, clearly in that moment, they were using it as a term of endearment, to praise you and to hail you. This was your first experience of Nigerian fans, So how did you feel to get that kind of reception?
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. It's not like I was or wasn't expecting it. Um, and even after the game, I was so consumed. And because I've been working up to that game for so long, I was so consumed in the game. When it ended, I was like, thank goodness, like we got a result. So like when people were chanting my name, I wasn't like, I was like, first I was like, why? Like I was just happy that we won. Like people were coming, like the cameras were coming to me, like saying, "Well played, you had a really great game." And it's weird because I actually find it hard to reflect on the game because I don't know, like I don't remember some of the things that I did. I just remember getting the result. So like when people were chanting my name, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like you could even see some of the players like pushing me because I'm like, what
Yeah,
is happening? Like I'm like, I don't really.
Michelle and some other player was pushing you forward, to go because
Yeah.
no, but it was definitely I saw it, and I just thought, oh, it's nice because I felt like from your perspective, in the moment I felt like it could only make you feel happy and make you feel more welcome than you
Mm.
already did, So that was nice, and that was in Abuja, Trust me, like Abuja fans are nice, but Lagos fans are nicer. I know Abuja people won't like me saying that. I have a bias because I'm from Lagos, but trust me, like the fans, so the fans in Lagos, they either love you all the way or they hate you all the way. That's what I would say
Yeah.
about fans in Lagos. If you're losing 2-0 against say Ghana in Lagos, the fans will boo you. Like the
Mm.
Nigerian fans will boo you. That's just the way fans in Lagos are. But
Mm.
if you're playing a very good game, oh, they're going to praise you to the stars and praise you to the
Mm.
moon. It's either or with Lagos fans. Okay. But yeah, that's wraps up all our talk about the Nigerian national team. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this last segment, to maybe 10 minutes max because we've already done about 40 minutes. I want to let you go. We're just going to play a couple games. I always like to do this segment just to, loosen up a little bit. Let's ask you questions, things that don't really have to do too much with football, just to get to know you a little bit more.